Thank you, everyone. And it is so good to see so many eyeballs and so few eyelids. And because of that, I've got a very short talk. Well, actually, honestly, I'm going to ask you to do one thing for me, and that's why I've made my talk short. So we're going to talk about information. And at the moment, very general overview. So this is very simplified. All of us produce information. So if we were all excellently diligent, like Kevin and his collaborators, we would all know, okay, with FDS, we know to go to one particular place and we can get everything that we ever wanted to know on FDS. The rest of us, however, we're not so diligent. So what we do is we store all our information all over the place. So when any one of us wants to actually find something, doing a literature review, just Googling ourselves, that type of thing, what happens is it sort of looks like this. We get a little bit of information from a whole lot of different sources, a whole lot of different people are accessing our information. So the concept is, let's make this simpler. And so instead of getting all of the repositories and making it one, why not make it everybody's responsible for their own repositories, just like they are currently, but now we've got one portal that we can search all the different repositories. So it's not rocket science, it's not brain surgery, luckily, because I don't like gooey stuff. So this sounds really simple. To implement, just like every other simple idea, it's not simple. So we decided, let's start with something easier. Remember, that's a relative term. So we started with literature. We'd love to move into data, but really we have to start simple. So the easy problem to start with is literature. So we've now got a draft version for a literature search. Remember, it's draft. The idea of draft is use it, break it, give us feedback on what it's missing, how you broke it, what else can be added. So that's sort of hinting at what I want you guys to give me. This is what it looks like. If you go to fire-information.net, on here you've got, it looks just like a Google element search. So you, just like you're using Google, put in your search, hit search. The difference with this is it's actually got a list of repositories such as these owned by NIST, NRCC, BRANZ, VTT. Also some journals are added in there. Remember, it's draft. It's not meant to be the solution. It's demonstration of a potential solution. So what we can actually learn from this, we can then apply down the road to data. Hopefully, that's the Holy Grail. So in this case, if you've used a Google search, you can use this. And even if you don't do literature searches, you don't do literature reviews, go Google yourself. See if where you store your papers, your reports, whether it's included in this. That's also what we want to know. What repositories are missing? So the people behind this that's actually making it happen, first of all, the number one biggest group are you guys. You're all users. And if you're not users yet, you better just go to the website, try it out. As soon as you use it once, you're a user. At least I consider you one. Now, there's a few other teams that you don't need to worry about unless you're really keen. If you're keen, talk to me. There's the repository owners. So even if you personally don't own a repository, but your reports aren't showing up in the search, let me know where this repository is. Let us know. Also, the poor guys, the poor suckers that actually do all the programming and deal with all the different repositories and all the different standard formats. And we also have an editorial board. So that's how, at the moment, that part is where the policy is currently being developed on to exactly how big, what does fire research in this case actually include. So that's a little bit of background, but probably much more than you ever needed to know. So the one thing I want from you is be a user. Go to fire-information.net. Use the search, break it. If you're doing a literature review and not just looking up yourself, this is a great way to actually use it in anger, as I've picked up from the Kiwis that I work with. If you're interested in either of the other two teams, also let me know. But number one is, I want you to use it. Break it, use it, tell me what's missing, tell me what else needs to be added. So this is just so all of these pages will be available online. So this is the contact information and the website. That's short, simple, sweet, but of course I did ask you to do one thing. Any questions?
Questions for Amanda? Kevin.
Technically, what is done differently than, say, the Google search engine here?
Okay. Google search engine, or even Google Scholar, which is better than Google search engine when you're looking for actual technical literature, that searches all of the technical literature. And so because fire research is actually quite a relatively small area compared to other fields, you can still use it, and it still works pretty well. But you do have, like for instance, the hit rate on one of our type of articles or papers is going to be lower relative to the rest of the world or relative to other fields. So by doing this, we're utilizing what Google has already learned about searching, but we're actually narrowing it down so it's a more concentrated number of repositories or types of repositories that actually are directly relevant to us.
Could you almost consider that a set of trusted sources as opposed to the broader web?
Well, yes, because it has gone through a review process. It's not just anything on the web because, yes, you've seen that little poster of the I'm from the internet guy. Yeah, so this is actually selected repositories, not just anything that's out there.
Any other questions?
Jim. We're not providing copyrighted material free. If you have a subscription, then you can access it. But the idea of this is to actually let you know, yes, it does actually exist. We haven't done any deals with any journals at this stage.
You said you wouldn't have anything that just comes from the internet. You would like stuff that's peer-reviewed. As an aside, I find the peer review process very terrible these days, particularly in fire. So wouldn't it almost be better to put anything on there, and then if it has a life, it has value?
That would be further down the track, and we're actually looking at some potential types of specific repositories for that type of approach, which is slightly different and slightly outside of our current journal or report usual track that we currently use. No more questions? Excellent.
All right. Thank you very much.